Okay, so now we're going to look at how we can get through these very chaotic times that we've been having and are going through and keep our wholeness, how we can do that better, how we can manage better so we don't get burnt out. And again, I'm sorry if there's noise and I've got to stop or anything like that because I am in the hospital and doing readings. Why not? Okay, so I'm covering community tab questions, and I've made a new playlist, so I will put all the community tab asked questions there so that they have a place. Alright, so I'm asking Spirit and ancestors and Spirit of the Tarot how we can best look after ourselves during this time of chaos, and this is a great big reset that we're going through, because once we get rid of Trump and we get another leader in there, we're going to have a lot of work that we'll be doing. Hang on just a second, I gotta put this on. Okay, so I had to get my wound changed. Now I've repositioned the bed. It's always a new thing. There we go. Now we were looking at the topic of how to stay whole during these chaotic times, because it's people get burnt out, people get down. I would tell you from my personal experience of just managing this, because I have PTSD, things like that, and generalized anxiety, that I would say limit how much you're watching the news, honestly, because they rehash a lot of stuff and it just goes over and over, and the only thing it does is make you more nervous. So maybe read your news. That's what I do. Read your news. That's one of the things you can do. Do not just do news all day where you're, constantly getting updates and things like that. A little bit, fine. Obviously, you want to know what's going on, but I quit watching some of the news programs unless there's something special going on, because it's too much, and I don't think it's healthy. So that's one thing I would suggest on my own to you, is limiting that and being mindful of what you feed your mind. So overall, make sure that you're compensating by reading stories that are uplifting or something that's more positive, comedies, anything, truly. So we're going to ask the cards, how do you recommend to us, Spirit of the Tarot, Spirit of the Ancestors, how to deal with this very difficult time, because it's burning people out, frazzling them. How and what do you recommend for that? How can we do that? Let's see what the cards have to say. And again, if I have any interruption, I do beg your apology. Here's your forgiveness, but people come in and stuff, so I might have to stop it. Okay, let me flip my glasses up. Eight of Wands. Okay, this is incoming energy. So this to me, automatically, is like the news, breaking news, and activity. Let's just see what else we get, though, okay? How's that showing up? Okay, you can see that. Looking back at the monitor. And we are crossed by the Four of Wands. We've got a lot of wands, don't we? Well, Since a lot of people have curfew and quarantine and this sort of thing, I would say get outside. Even if you can't go to the park, so to speak, or, well, you can go. I think that you have to do social distancing in many places and mask up. Okay, but if not, if you don't have a yard, if you have a balcony, go sit out there if you can. But nature is the primary card for me. This to me is my Parks and Rec kind of card. And it's about getting out in nature and also socializing a little bit with other people. Now, I know that's more difficult during this time, but where you have, can talk on the phone, maybe even and step outside and spend some time outside is part of it, part of the answer. King of Swords. Also be very discerning. Discerning what you feed your mind. And that includes, like I said, news. We like our news anchors. We like our, Rachel Maddows and stuff like that. But sometimes I think we need a break from that kind of programming. Period. Any news, Get something, mix it up. Mix it up. And make active change. If you have a way of being active, I'm also getting that. And I know that that's difficult for a lot of people, but heck, even if you're inside and you're doing jumping jacks or push-ups or something, running in place, running around in your yard, being outside and burning up some of that activity is really important, because what happens is a lot of that activity doesn't get used up the way it should, because a lot of people don't feel like they can go to the gym or do things in the way that they used to do. So they have to find an alternative way to be physically active. And I would say like yoga, seriously, at home with the like a video or stream on, through some means, that kind of stuff. Physical activity that you can channel. If not, keeping your hands busy, such as gardening. This would come in here too. And it's focusing less on a little bit of the constant rehash of what's going on with Donald Trump, with greedy political, this is even a Trump card here, also reclaiming your space and energy. For me, it's like I just don't want to give him any more time or consideration. The man's getting all this energy off of us, in my opinion, by us thinking about him all the time. So I don't like to give him that. I know he's there. That's enough. I don't need to delve into constantly thinking, because I know he's going. And that's the other thing. Know that he is not here forever. No, he is not. It's like when you're pregnant and you're scared that you're going to be pregnant forever. I actually had that happen. Not being pregnant forever, but being afraid that I would be pregnant forever at one point. I knew it was irrational, but I was just over it. So over it by that point. So this is the same with him. You got to focus on other things. When it comes to him, do other stuff. Don't get sucked into the whole game of getting afraid. And that's part of the problem that people have had, is that they've fallen into this fear cycle. And Trump has spun a very effective fear cycle in people. They don't even realize that they're afraid of what he's going to do every day. And it's just too much. the world card. It's also knowing that this too shall pass. This has a sell-by date. And knowing that you will have, life will return to getting back out there, getting back active again, and quote unquote settling down a bit. It will. In the meantime, I'd say what we have to do is not fight the so to speak, creating the change that we need to have, keeping active, not giving Trump our mind, body, and soul and attention, consciously making the choice not to focus on him and focusing on other things. Read a book, anything. Make your mindful activities not include him so much. And I'm getting dancing. I know that might sound silly, but I'm getting activities, gardening, dancing. You don't have to take this up professionally or anything, but just activity, physical activity that you can do, and creative activity would also be something that I would urge people to utilize during this time. Whether you don't have to be good at it. That's not the point. The point is therapy, if you want to know the truth. And that would be any kind of art therapy. There are, you can look on, even on YouTube, they can teach you to draw, painting. Start something simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. If you want to start with adult coloring books, even do that. Seriously. Put your energies in a creative area, such as gardening, such as art. That can be, if you're into music, make some music. Get the software to create beats and that kind of thing. I'm serious. Focus on the creative arts, focus on gardening, and just anything where you can physically kind of be active and put your creative thinking cap on. Okay? Yeah. It's saying you need to take a break from all the news and from all the politics and the drama. Taking a little break is good because you got to refresh yourself. Otherwise you burn out. So that's also part of the advice. Don't feel bad or guilty either. You cannot consume that news 24/7 and be normal. I don't. I'm not normal either, but okay. But I'm just saying you have to take a break. You have to put your mind in other places and other topics to balance. And so don't feel guilty about doing that. Don't feel like, hey, if I'm not watching the news 24/7, I'm not doing my part. That's not doing your part. That's going to tear you apart. Get focused on something else. Watch an old movie. Seriously. Actively do stuff that takes you out of the gear of politics and stress. The Knight of Pentacles is in the environment for us. We have a lot of work to do. So there's going to be a lot that we can get focused on. And there's a lot that we can do even solo in our environment. Whether it's, like I said, doing crafts and arts and crafts at home, and painting, gardening, even if you don't have a garden, pick up a potted plant, read more about that kind of stuff, learn about the natural world. We definitely could stand with that. And that it's going to take, we need to put our investment in that in our whole well-being too. If we look at the Knight of Pentacles, studies also, definitely studies, scholarly pursuits, information, any topics, history, art history, whatever your topic of choice is. Put your brain in that book. And hopes and fears, we have the King of Cups, which is a very creative card. So I'm also intuition. Anything that, like, if you get the urge to try something new, ceramics, or, you know, I don't know where you're going to be able to do that. Maybe you'll just go to the arts and crafts store and buy some clay. I don't know. But this is feeling very arty, and it's feeling very much with the hands-on of drawing and gardening. I just feel like involving your hands and your mind will help pull you out of this funk, and just putting your mind in the focus of certain topics that interest you, that are not political and stressful. Yep, look, there's old Smokey the Bear. And this is about nature. It's funny that we're getting Smokey the Bear as the final end result card. Focusing on nature, being outdoors, even if we can't be around a lot of people or groups, that's how to deal with this for right now, and to deal with the stress of having this criminal in office. So we need to make sure that we're handling our stress with lots of nature and art, the arts, and putting our energies actively in there. I would say if you have an interest too in tarot, things of that nature, it would be a good time to learn how to do that. And meditation. You can do meditation really simply. It doesn't have to be all complicated. But you can look on YouTube for free resources. I would say meditation. I would say history. Learning different topics and investing your mind there. Think about what you're putting, just like you think about your diet. A chili dog is okay, but a chili dog every day, not so okay. So reading Trump news every day is going to do the same thing. Some to keep abreast of what's going on, for sure, but don't keep it that running in the background constantly. It's not good for you. All right? And if you have any questions further, just ask in the comments below. So there's that. There's my answer with the cards on how to keep sane, how to keep yourself whole, is by nature, is by meditation, the arts, and getting what you can of the outdoors, whether it's a balcony and a potted plant or potted plants in some way, and your books. Get back into that. Get back into the old school stuff. And if you're doing it on your own, that's fine. And if you get bored, make the phone calls, call your friends, and offset this energy that way. All right? I hope I'm speaking loudly enough and that you can hear me, because there's a lot of background noise with this bed and stuff. So that's the video for that question, and I'll get on to the next one.